Hey everybody! Today's the first day in a long time that I've drug my ass about making a video. I don't know why. Um, Probably just because I'm cold and all I want to do is get in my recliner with my blankie and watch movies. Oh, and now that I'm saying that I'm cold, and just reminding everybody that I live in Florida. So with all due respect, because I do have people that I know and love who live up north, and they hate when I say, oh, I'm cold, because they're having all that Arctic weather, and I'm in Florida complaining that I'm cold. But that being said, I am a Florida girl, born and raised. So when I got up this morning, it was 30 something, 37, 38, something like that. To a Florida girl born and raised, that's cold. I'm sorry. It is what it is. It's not cold like what they're dealing with, but for me, it's cold. So yes. But got up, weighed myself. I'm at 182 now. Keto stick. It's got color, but I was a little surprised that it wasn't a little darker than what it is. And it could be, like I say, I think I'm sensitive to carb. I keep saying that. I think I am, but I refed last night. Like I said, with a salad, iceberg lettuce, like a tomato. It was probably like 3/4 of a tomato, half an avocado, and then I threw that ham on top of it. Ran the numbers, and calorie-wise, it was really good, because let's face it, there's no calories in iceberg lettuce. And I had that. You'll see, if you can see the picture, that bowl was full of iceberg lettuce, so I'd say about 6 cups of iceberg lettuce. So came out to like 293 for calories, but everything, the avocado, the lettuce, the tomato, the ham, all have carbs in them. So, and I didn't take the time to figure out net carbs, because, vegetables, although they have carb, they also have fiber, so you have to do the math. We all know I hate math. You have to do the math to figure out net carbs. But nevertheless, everything has carbs in it, so I'm showing that it was like 24 grams of carbs, which is not that bad, but I always try to stay no carb, or as low carb as I can get. Like my meal the night before on Tuesday was only 11 grams of carbs. So that's more. If I'm going to have carbs in my meal, I'd rather stay around there, or no carbs, which I would have to eat a hunk of meat and call it a day. Yeah, so maybe that's why my keto stick isn't getting darker. I think it should be a little darker. I mean, I'm dry fasting. So, I don't know. That's just me. But it has color, so life goes on. And this morning, before I went for my walk, as I was getting ready for my walk, had the urge to go to the bathroom. Woohoo! So that's a plus for today. And yeah, it's cold out, but I got my walk done, got the gym done, no biggie. You know, I watched my video yesterday where I was, I don't want to say complaining, but saying, oh, the gym's getting hard now. And when I watched the video back, I kind of laughed because it's not getting hard. It's getting challenging, as it should be. You know, it should week by week by week get more and more challenging. So it's not getting hard. It's just getting more challenging, and you know, and I feel the effects when I get home with a little minor soreness. And like I say, I like that. I like feeling that soreness. I wouldn't want it to where I couldn't move or sit on the toilet, or not that kind of soreness. But yeah, I like it. So I just wanted to correct that because it sounded like a big crybaby. So yeah, so everything went good today. I just wanted to, because I know I said I was going to talk a little bit, get into like the, you know, being fat, how we got fat, what happened, you know. We all have a story of how we think that could have possibly happened. You don't get obese just because. There's something there. There's a reason that that happens. And like I say, we all have our different stories. But I'm not going to try to get too involved, meaning I don't want to like sit here for 2 hours because it would literally take me days to tell the whole story. So I'm just telling little pieces as I go along. But for me, if I look back, I mean, it for me it starts like way back, like when I was probably 3. My parents split up, and my mother abandoned me and my brother. Now when I say she abandoned us, I don't mean she left us on a park bench or anything. I mean she just decided that she wasn't happy. And I'm a mother of 3 myself, so I don't get this, and I'll probably never get it. Like, if I'm not happy, I mean, if I'm miserable, yeah, I'm going to leave the marriage, but I ain't leaving my kids. There's no way. So, but that's what she did. She was just over it, you know. She wanted to go back home. She's from Hawaii, so, you know, she went back home. And when she originally went back home, she did take my brother and I with her. But, you know, she told my dad she was going to visit her parents, and big soap opera story. And, you know, then he finally figured out, oh, no, she didn't. She, you know, because she wasn't saying, you know, he kept asking her, when are you guys coming back? And she wouldn't really give him a straight answer. So he finally put 2 and 2 together and was like, oh, she's up to something. So he came to Hawaii to be like, what the hell's going on? You know, if you're not happy and you want to stay here, but I want my kids. And it was a big whoop-de-doo. So, you know, at the end of that little story, she ends up giving me and my brother to my dad to come back to Florida. Some people will be like, well, she didn't really abandon you. She, you know, your dad wanted you, and she gave in to that. Yeah, true. But like I say, as a mother, there would had to have been another resolution. I mean, I think she was just like immature, because I would have been like, listen, I'm I'm not happy in the marriage. And I don't think it was so much that she wasn't even happy in the marriage as it was that she wasn't happy because they got married, moved to Florida. That's, where my dad was born and raised. And he builds her a house, and I think like I say, she was young, and I think she was just like, after a while, like, oh, I miss Hawaii, I miss my parents, I miss my siblings, all this stuff. And I think my dad was like, well, this is where we live. I just built you a house, put your big girl panties on. you know, you're a married woman, you got 2 kids. Suck it up, do the right thing for the kids. But she was immature and I guess couldn't do that. So the only option in her mind was stay in Hawaii, keep us. My dad, of course, wasn't having that. Or go back to Florida and, I guess in her eyes, be miserable. I don't know. Like I say, I was 3. But nevertheless, she lets my father have us. And then after my father lived with his father, or he brought his father to come live with him in the house he built for my mother, so that his father could help with my brother when my dad had to go to work and stuff. And then for whatever reason, when he got me back from my mother, I guess he didn't think it was appropriate to have a little girl in the house with 3 men. This was back in the day, y'all. So he put me to live with one of his sisters and her family. And it was okay. It was fine. Her and her husband, and they had 2 boys that were teenagers. And it was fine. But, in my head as a little girl, I'm thinking, what the fuck? I don't think I was thinking what the fuck, but I do remember wondering, why is my brother with him and I'm not? And they would come visit me every once in a while, him and my brother. And then when they'd leave, I'd be like, what the hell, why can't I go with you? So that right there, just the fact that my mother gave me up caused me abandonment type issues. What's wrong with me, that she didn't want me. Then my dad gets me, but then he don't have me. He puts me with his sister. So now I'm thinking, okay, now my dad don't want me either, because I'm not with him. So more abandonment issues, non-trust. I'm always waiting for the other shoe to fall. So, a lot of trust issues, abandonment issues, and my dad finally, for whatever reason, decides he's going to get me and let me stay with him and my brother and my grandfather. And that was great. That was, I was happy. And then my father decides I don't believe this story for the life of me, but it really wasn't worth me, aggravating my father for the truth or what have you. But the story told to me, and again, I don't believe it. I'm pretty sure that's not the truth. My father decides he quits his job, And so now he needs to go to Georgia to look for a job. Why Georgia, you might ask? Hell, I don't know. That's the part that I'm like, bullshit, you know. And I'm pretty sure I know what happened, you know. As I got older, I kind of started putting pieces together. Not going to go into it here because it's not really relevant. But he did go to Georgia to look for a job. And while he went to Georgia, he then leaves me and my brother again with another sister and her family, not the one I was staying with, but another sister of his and her family. Her husband, she had a son and a daughter, both teenagers. The son was about 16 and the daughter I think was like 19. And that's where all hell broke loose. She was, and it was just me. Like my brother, he really didn't go through what I went through. My aunt was very abusive to me, physically, emotionally, and mentally. And then both of the males in the house, her husband and her son, were sexually abusive to me. And even without all, well, let's face it, that's what was making me miserable as a little kid because, you know, where's my dad? Why isn't he here? I'm so miserable here. All this stuff's happening to me. Where's my father? He should be here taking care of me, protecting me. You know, more abandonment issues, trust issues. Because if you can't trust your mom and dad, you're fucked. So, you know, like I say, she was really abusive in everything. I mean, like I didn't know what to say, what to do, how to look, you know, if to breathe or not. You know, it was 24/7 stress for me to be so little. Like I was always like not knowing because, you know, you could just like sneeze and, you know, you're going to get in trouble or get a beat down or I got in trouble one time just to show you how stupid it was because I went to a friend's house, which was rare that she would even let me leave the house, but she let me leave the house to go to a friend's house and play. Went to the friend's house, friend wasn't there. So I come back. Doors are locked in the house. I'm trying to get in, you know, and so I'm ringing the doorbell. I'm knocking on the door and she's not answering. So I go around to the other door off of the kitchen and I'm knocking on that door and you know, I'm a little kid. I don't know. All I know is I want my damn house, right? And she wasn't coming to the door, so she finally did. And I mean, and she met me at that door with a belt, and she wore my ass out because I was ringing the bell and knocking on the door, and she was trying to take a nap. I'm laughing now because it's like some of the stuff was so freaking ridiculous. There's so many stories. Like I say, it would take me weeks to tell all of them, but I may touch on a few here and there just to, because that time frame, which was probably, you know, if we start back when my mother left to the time frame of being with this psycho family, it was probably about 3 years time frame. You know, from my mother leaving us, then going to that aunt, and then my dad taking me back, and then leaving again and leaving me with the psycho family. So about 3 or 4 years. And that time frame just like literally laid the path for my life. She was very, and the food part comes with her, and like I say, anything and everything she could think of to, you know, annoy me, abuse me, piss me off, or whatever, she would do it. And a lot of it she did with food. So if there was something I particularly didn't like, there was two things I couldn't stand when I was a little kid. I was a pretty good eater. But there was two things I could not stand when I was little. Green beans and pork and beans. Couldn't stand them. Guess what she cooked a lot? Yeah, so, and when I was a kid, I was skinny, like, I remember she used to make fun of me calling me bird legs, right? So I wasn't like a big eater and, big old piles of food, which she would never allow that anyway, but I wasn't a big eater, but she would make sure to make anything that I hated, because then that gave her, in her mind, I guess, permission. That's not the right word, but because she knew I hated it, so I would probably be sitting there not wanting to eat it because I, wasn't sure what was going to happen. I felt like if I ate it, I was going to throw up. And then I'd really be in trouble, right? So she cooked that stuff a lot. And then would just stand over me with a wooden spoon, trying to make me eat it, and, okay. I hate to keep talking about this little countdown thing, but I didn't research it, so I still don't know what it means, but this video is 22 minutes long, and so I'm gonna let it just count down because it says slash 24 minutes and 37 seconds, so I don't know if that means at 24 minutes and 37 seconds it's gonna cut me off, but I guess we'll find out today, because I'm gonna ignore it and see if it cuts me off, and if it does, then I'll just have to do a restart and merge them together. But yeah, so and in that time frame, there was no, if like to go to school, one of the things that she made a lot was toast, with either toast and butter, and then you had like milk. Sometimes she gave us chocolate milk, or toast with peanut butter on it with milk or chocolate milk. So even something like that, which was great for breakfast, as a kid, who doesn't like peanut butter and chocolate milk, because it was something good, she didn't want me to be happy. She didn't want me to like it. So what she would do is she would make me a piece of toast, and then she would take like the very tip of the knife. I shouldn't be laughing because it's not funny, but the very tip of the knife, and put like a little thing of peanut butter on the tip of the knife, and get it on the piece of toast, and then with, like, say we were having chocolate milk with that, then she would take the chocolate milk and she'd do the same thing. She'd get the spoon and put like a little bit of Nestle's Quick chocolate powder on the very tip of the spoon and stir it into the milk. So like mind games. I mean, she knew that. I'm back. Okay, so I guess that verifies that number tells me how much time I have to record according to how much memory or storage I have left. So now I know. So I'm gonna have to do some deleting off of this thing. So anyways, so you know, that control, going back to the food, that control that she had over the food, you know, and there was never anything, you know, I don't want to say we, because my brother didn't have the same experience I did. So I can only speak about myself. I was not allowed junk food. You know, the others in the house were allowed junk food, you know, chips, cookies, you know, things like that. But me, no fucking way. No, nothing ever, anything good like that. And then, like I say, things that were like halfway good, toast with peanut butter, she would fuck with it. So yeah, it was really weird. And like, I can remember a treat to me was, if she ever left the house, I would get a kitchen chair and I would get up in the cabinet and would either go after the peanut butter, or sometimes I would get in the, there was never any good children type cereal. I think that if I remember right, the only cereals we ever had was either Corn Flakes or Raisin Bran. So I would get in the Raisin Bran cereal box and eat the raisins. To me, that was like a treat, you know. Because when I never got anything sweet, candy, cookies, or anything like that. So, but I did watch others in the house eating it. Anyways, so that was like a treat for me to eat the raisins out of there. Oh, and I think there was times I would even eat the Nestle's Quick, the powder, you know, because it was sweet and it was chocolatey. So those were like treats to me when she when she wasn't there. I would sneak and do that. Yeah, so I think that was like the beginning, you know, and it was typical. Here's your dinner. Like it, don't like it, but you're going to eat every bite and you're not leaving the table until you do. So, you know, you had to clean your plate. So I think that's, you know, where it began for me, and then, you know, continued on even later, as even after we got out of there and went back with my father, it continued on, and obviously got worse, you know, as I grew up. But that's where it began for me, and where a lot of my shit started. Yeah, so, but I'll leave it there because this video is already crazy long. And I'll just keep continuing with little parts of the story of how I think I got here. Because, like I say, I was 3 when all that started, and I'm 60 now, so, you know, it's been a long freaking journey. So that's part 1 of 500 parts. I'm going to try not to dwell on it too much. I don't want to bore people, but like I say, I'm sure a lot of us have similar, you know, experiences in our life that brought us where we are. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go chill out and watch movies. So tonight's I'm really thirsty today. I cannot wait to get my lips around a bottle of water. I'm really thirsty today. And so tonight I'm gonna refeed on actually I don't know, like, if I should. What I figured I was gonna do, because I took out some hamburger meat. I didn't realize hamburger meat's so freaking fatty. Because it's like the size of a giant burger, right? But I weighed it on my scale, on my food scale, and it was like 11 ounces. I put 11 ounces in this calorie thing. Holy crap, it was like 900 and something calories for 11 ounces of ground beef. I was like, crap. So I'm only going to have 5 ounces of that ground beef and more lettuce, more tomato, which of course has given me good, staying under 500 calories, but because of the lettuce and tomato, it's given me 11 carbs, which again, it's not bad. I don't mind that. I mean, I would be happy just eating the ground beef, but in order to stay under 500 calories, I would only be able to have like 6 ounces of ground beef, and I don't think that's going to fill my belly. It might, but I doubt it. So, although the lettuce has carbs in it, I'm still going to eat it because it's like a filler. It's like for the little bit of calories I'll get out of it, it'll at least fill my belly. So yeah, so that's what I'm having. I'm having ground beef. I'm probably going to season it up a little bit to be kind of like taco meat, like put chili powder and stuff in it. And then just make my lettuce and tomato salad and throw that hamburger meat over it. Yeah. So, that's what I'm going to do for tonight's refeed. It's going to come out to 467 calories and 11 grams of carbs. And we'll see where we're at on the scale in the morning. It's so funny because, see, here we go, me trying to get off this damn video, and I always think of something else to say, but I was thinking of this morning where, like, I got up and I was only 1 pound down, and I was like, fuck, what the hell happened? What happened to the 2 pounds? I was hoping to be 2 pounds again down. So funny, like, I remember back in the day trying to lose weight, and I would have killed to lose 2 pounds a week. And now here I'm losing 2 pounds a day, or a pound a day, and still not happy. But anyways, I am happy. It's just kind of like I was like, ooh, I hope I lost 2 pounds again. But I didn't, so we'll see what the scale does in the morning, since I did weigh this morning before I went to the bathroom, if you know what I mean. So we'll see what happens in the morning. Alright, you guys, I gotta go take this tablet and see how much crap I can delete off of it, because man, it's gonna be cutting me off and stuff because I don't have any storage. Alright, so you guys keep fasting, stay strong, you can do it, I believe in you, and hang tough. Keep snaking, everybody. See you tomorrow.